So I talked before in the earlier slides about how when you are you've decided how your day is going to be. This is a no meeting day or a slightly filled meeting day. But then something happens in the middle of the day and you need to shift gears. So you're working on your to-do list and then a lion attacks your servers. How many people have a problem with wild animals in their machine room? Yeah, everyone. So you are a wild animal. Okay, you rock on with your bad self. So what do you want to do when an emergency happens? You know, the file server crashes, the email server goes down. Well, you know, it's going to be a normal day, but now there's a major outage. Your goal here in this type of day is to solve the outage. So techniques. You want to be visible to users. When I was at Bell Labs, if there was an outage and they didn't see sysadmins running down the hall, they thought we weren't working on the outage. When we got long-distance KVM switches so we could work on machines from our office, and the first outage, people like freaked out, "Why aren't you there?" We had to like turn our monitor and say, "See, I can see the console right from here." They were like, "Oh, okay, that's really weird." You know, be focused. You know, which is sort of the opposite. Now you're going to turn on your instant message thing because you're communicating with your team. Know when to accept help. I've seen so many people in the middle of an outage say, no, I'll fix this, don't bother me, when their other sysadmins are like, you're missing a comma. And communicate to the management chain. It's important that your managers know the status of things, because instead of users begging you like for status updates, you can have your boss be in charge of communicating the status. And they're probably a little better at that. Yes?
Unfortunately, we've got really good emergencies at my old job.
Mm-hmm.
And we assigned someone to be in front. It wasn't the boss, because the boss was freaking out.
Okay. So your boss's job was to freak out. You would have a coworker that would stand at the door of the machine room and be like, "It's all okay." Yeah. I worked at a place once, we had a whiteboard outside the machine room, and we'd say, you know, "Yes, we know it's down, next status update at 2 p.m., and then we'd run in and we'd lock the door behind ourselves.
More importantly, they would come back to us periodically, because we were deep down into it. We weren't
right.
We didn't have time to update it. They could come
Sure.
and say, "Okay, what's going on now? Anything?" And if there was nothing, they went away with that. But,
right.
But at least it was nothing.
That's good. So you had sort of a protocol with your coworker where they would handle communicating to the users, and they would also tap your shoulder every hour to be like, you know, "You're okay? You haven't died yet?" Sure.
They didn't have any other duties.
And they had no other duties. That's good. And so if your boss fills that role, there's another reason why you want to have a to-do list, because you can say, "Hey boss, this is what's on my plate today. Mary's really expecting this by the end of today. Could you go and tell her that due to the outage, it's not going to happen today?" And that has benefit of A, we've communicated to Mary, and B, it got your boss out of the computer room. And you can only do that if you're maintaining a to-do list. Yeah?
One of the things that we found helps in emergency is having some sort of either a bridge open or all get together in the same queue with one person to drive.
Right.
People that are all trying to fix the same problem and often stepping on each other's toes, and no one knows who's fixing what.
Right. Yeah. So you set up a war room on a conference call, so everyone's be able to communicate, or an IRC channel or something, and everyone stays in contact. You're not stepping on each other's toes. Good point. Also, you might in that war room decide, well, a quick fix is okay. You know, we'll do a terrible fix, but then we'll fix it for real on the weekend. Or if you're at a stock exchange, you know, you can do a sloppy fix that lasts until 5 o'clock, and then after 5 o'clock, you can do a real fix. It's also important to write up a post-mortem for every outage, every customer visible outage. So a post-mortem is not a document that points blame. It describes what went wrong, what went right, and what can be done to prevent it in the future. The most important thing is at the end, you should have a list of bug IDs. You know, the 5 things we want to have improved to prevent this in the future are bug ID, 101, improved documentation related to blah, blah, blah. Bug ID 102, fix this shell script, blah, 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 blah. Now you can take that list of bug IDs, and your manager or a project manager can work that list and know that it's done. Or your external, or your customers can look at those bug IDs and watch them getting closed. Bugs or tickets